Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance, and today we're talking about the latest short report to come out against CleanSpark. And that's right, I said latest, because this is not the first time this has happened to us, investors here in CleanSpark stock. The first time it happened, it was really a challenge to a lot of shareholders, and it took a lot of convincing for a lot of you guys to hold on to your shares. And I'm sure there's plenty of you watching this video that are so glad you held through your shares the first time a short report came out. The first time it came out was around $13 per share, and the short report dropped the stock to $7 per share. So a lot of people's money almost got cut in half. But this newer short report hardly has had any impact on the share price. Today, I attribute the drop in the share price to the drop in Bitcoin prices as well as the drop in the overall market. So the fact that I'm even addressing this short report, I probably shouldn't be doing so. But last time this happened, I did a rebuttal live stream, and I also put together a full 18-page PDF report rebutting against the short report. Now, I'm not going to do that this time. That was a lot of work, and it was really needed. But this time, I don't really think that's needed because this short report really is just pretty sloppy. So to start this video, yes, I'll go through some pieces of rebuttal against this short report, just the main concerns some people have. But I'm really going to focus on the positives of CleanSpark. The parts of CleanSpark as a company that the short reports, the shorters, the bears against the stock don't like to talk about. And that includes contracts with the US government, that includes contracts with the United States Marines, that includes contracts for HEB and Walmart, that includes contracts for Fortune 500 companies in Costa Rica. So I'll be getting into that in the later part of this video, but to start things off, I will do a little tiny bit of rebuttal against this short report. So the first thing you should really do when a short report comes out on a company that you're invested in and you believe in is just look through the track record of that short reporter. Have they been successful in their short attempts? So that's something I did as soon as this short report came out. And I looked through all 8 of their past short reports on Blink Charging, which they shorted at $10 a share. And we all know how Blink Charging has gone. I looked through all these other companies that they released short reports on, and they're 0 for 8 on their last few attempts at short reporting. And what that means is since their short report on these companies have come out, the share prices have risen. As soon as you see a research firm, if that's what they like to be called, go 0 for 8 on their last few short attempts, you should automatically pretty much dismiss that entire report. And the reason I find that funny is they attacked me, RexFinance, no affiliation whatsoever with CleanSpark, as a part of their short report. Read here, they say, see for example, an August 7th, 2020 interview conducted by a 19-year-old apparently in his basement. I've never seen a research firm go after a YouTuber that's not affiliated with the company whatsoever as evidence against the company itself. It just doesn't make sense. So as soon as you read something like that, again, you should be dismissing this. And I will say that was a pretty dang good interview, and I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. I encourage you all to go watch that interview if you have not yet. So I don't know if they're jealous that my basement is better than their basement, because that's pretty clearly what they're probably living in, considering they're 0 for 8 on their last few short report attempts. But that's besides the point, so let's move on. They dedicated an entire page to RexFinance, and again, I am not affiliated with CleanSpark whatsoever. I've never received any compensation from CleanSpark or any related parties. The only compensation I've received are from advertisements and the memberships I've gotten as a result of these interviews that I've held on the channel. But what really shocks me is they take a screen grab of a video I did on my channel that had nothing to do with anything anybody at CleanSpark had said. So there were no direct tie-ins to the company yet again, and they attack CleanSpark the company because of what a 19-year-old YouTuber titled his video. Again, throw the research report to the side because it's just nonsense. And what's really funny about this, they claim I make unsubstantiated rumors that the company is going to be acquired by Tesla, but in the video I say directly several times that I think it is highly unlikely and I hope it never happens. I did say that I will never rule it out 10-15 years down the line, but I don't want it to happen, and I think it's highly unlikely. I literally said that several times in the video. So when you see things like this, they're not doing their proper research, and their firm name is literally Culper Research. They claim Matthew Schultz is attention hungry for going on a 19-year-old's YouTube channel to do an interview. But what I say to that is Matthew Schultz is a very smart executive chairman. He handles the investor relations and he understands his investor base. Generally, you're going to have a younger investor base if you're a clean energy company. Now, just to prove another point here, I was actually the one that reached out to Matt to do the interview. He didn't come to me to do the interview. I asked him to do the interview, and here's the email right here. You can see in the top left. I sent it on August 5th of 2020. And, I would read through the email, but it's a little bit embarrassing, right? We've come a long ways, and I was very blessed and fortunate for Matthew to come on the channel and do an interview, and then eventually come back on to do a second interview. And I'm not going to fault him for that, right? His job is literally to get potential investors interested in the company. And by going on a 19-year-old's YouTube channel, he's speaking directly to a younger audience, which is generally what investors are going to be more interested in the company. Another thing that I want to quickly mention about this short report is that they literally took 2 pictures of dirt and used it as evidence that CleanSpark doesn't have customers and that their relationship with International Land Alliance doesn't exist. But if we go out and do our own research, we can go to International Land Alliance's website. We can see their Valle Divino resort right here on their website. And if we scroll through this, we can see the master plan here. And if we keep scrolling, there's some different renderings of what they're trying to do here with their model homes. But if we keep scrolling, here's a more close-up view of what they're trying to do. And then if we keep scrolling, there's legitimate pictures of the construction beginning, and they dedicated literally 3 pages to trying to prove that this relationship didn't exist and that International Land Alliance is a fake company and the partnership is going to fall through if it hasn't already, these sorts of things. But there's literally pictures here, and if the pictures aren't good enough for you, you can look at videos they post of them moving dirt and, drawing the outline here. We see an entire picture behind us of the outline here. When we go back to these pictures that the short report has, these pictures that they took look nothing like anything that's posted here. I would say the closest images are these 2 right here with the mountainside or the hillside in the background of the photo. But when we look through this, it's almost an entirely different landscape. So I'm not saying they faked the pictures. I mean, they provided a business card as proof they went to go visit. But all I'm saying is, yeah, maybe they went to go visit, but you know what? They could have taken a picture of dirt anywhere in the world and used it as evidence that their partnership with International Land Alliance doesn't exist. And when we go to the website, we can literally see that groundbreaking has happened. They have the entire outline of their proposal mapped out and finished right here. And they already have some of their homes or resorts, whatever you want to call it, sold, as we see right here, all of the red. Another thing I want to mention is that 99 times out of 100, a research firm that comes out with a short report against a company doesn't have any material evidence to prove anything against that company. Otherwise, they would take their findings to the SEC, and that would be that. Culper Research very clearly has an agenda, and they're probably trying to make money alongside of having that agenda. Because again, if they really had anything material, they could go directly to the SEC and CleanSpark would be shut down. But guess what? That's not going to happen. Now, I'm not saying that research firms that come out with short reports are never right. We saw that with Hindenburg Research and Nikola. They were completely right. But 99 times out of 100, they are completely incorrect. And this time, they're completely incorrect. So my message to you is believe in what you own and don't let them steal your money, because ultimately that's what they're trying to do. It takes a special type of person, in my opinion, to make false accusations in order to make money at the expense of people and investors that have never impacted your life in a positive or negative way. And CleanSpark is not dumb. A lot of the things that Culper Research brought up in their short report is public information. For example, their dealings with law clerk P2K Labs, that whole debacle. All the information provided in the research report is public information. And all I'm saying is the issue with law clerk shouldn't even be a talking point. If we go to Google, we can see that P2K Labs was founded in 2014, 7 years ago. On Law Clerk's own website in their About Us section, we find that Law Clerk wasn't even around till 2015 and 2016 more predominantly. So about 2 years after P2K Labs was founded, Law Clerk came around. And they went to P2K Labs to get their corporate identity, their marketing, their branding, their designs, all done by P2K Labs. As far as I'm aware, Amer has never taken any compensation from Law Clerk. I wouldn't even be surprised if he wasn't aware that he was listed as a CPO on this website. Because it's true, ever since the inception of this company, he's worked on their brand identity, their corporate identity, their design work, all of this stuff. So it's not out of this world that they would call him their CPO, their Chief Product Officer. So no, this isn't a shell company for P2K Labs to make money. This is a legit company, a law clerk. You can go to their website. They have lots of reviews and a lot of people use their service. I also want to highlight that whenever acquisitions take place, it's very common that the management team joins the acquiring company's management team because they understand their business better than anybody else. And given their expertise, they might have better relationships, they might be able to retain customers better, and ultimately, they might be able to drive revenues better. CleanSpark's insiders aren't out here to line their pockets. I mean, come on. If they were out here to line their pockets, they would take cash payment for these acquisitions, they would take cash payment for their duties and their job work, but they don't. They take payment in shares. If they felt CleanSpark had any remote chance of crumbling, they would take cash and they'd be happy to take cash because now that they own shares, if CleanSpark stock tanks, guess what? All of their hard work that they've gone through for years means nothing. They own zero in assets because all of the shares they own in the company are worth $0. So the fact that Lori Love was announced as the CFO of CleanSpark before they closed the acquisition of P2K Labs, who cares, right? I mean, P2K Labs was acquired to be a cash flow positive company and to help the bottom line of CleanSpark, which it has. And just to further my point, if they were out to line their pockets, they would sell their shares immediately and they would never have to worry about money again with the current valuation of CleanSpark. But have we seen any insiders sell a single share? The answer is no. You can go through the SEC filings. You can go through everything. So now let's go ahead and move on to the positive side of CleanSpark that the short reporters don't want to talk about and they don't want you to see. One awesome fact about this company, and Matthew Schultz and Zachary Bradford in particular, are that they went without pay to make this company work. Again, if they were in this for themselves and to make money, they wouldn't go without pay for any span of time, let alone up to a year or 2 years working without pay. Another thing that these short reports never mention are that CleanSpark is dealing with the United States government directly. With their US Embassy in Beirut, as we see here. I'll leave links to all these press releases down in the description below. And they also delivered on a contract for the United States government for an embassy on the continent of Africa. Again, these links will be down in the description below. But I'm sure a lot of you that are invested in CleanSpark probably don't know this because all you've read is the short report. And there's a reason they don't mention these things, and it's because CleanSpark is working directly with the United States government. They're working directly with the United States Marine Corps. And ultimately, if the United States government and the United States military trusts CleanSpark to keep the lights on, I'm going to trust CleanSpark with my money. We also see the world's largest retailer, which is Walmart, has ordered switchgear from CleanSpark. And this large grocery store chain they're talking about is HEB, which is based out of Houston. And I live in Nebraska and I know what HEB is. So again, if HEB and Walmart are trusting CleanSpark along with the United States government and the military, why would I not trust them with my money? And why would I not trust Matthew Schultz and everything they've said? I should probably clarify, but their dealings with the United States Marines are at Camp Pendleton, which they've deployed a fractal grid, which is when one microgrid communicates with several other microgrids and together they become stronger. And this is in San Diego, California at Camp Pendleton. And then we haven't even mentioned their complete microgrid at Rams Hill Golf Club in Borrego Springs, California. This was completed in 2015, and ever since these microgrids have been deployed at Camp Pendleton and Rams Hill, both have never lost power. Both have never had their lights turn off on them. So again, I'll say it. The United States government with their embassies, the US Marines with Camp Pendleton, Walmart and HEB, and ultimately just a random golf club are all trusting CleanSpark with their technology and microgrids, and it's a proven product. It's been deployed for years. But again, the short reports don't like to talk about this stuff. And then we haven't even talked about how CleanSpark has doubled their revenues each of the last 3 years, and they're in an industry growing at 28% compounded annually. I'll go out on a limb here and say there's probably a single-digit number of companies out there that can say they've doubled their revenues each of the last 3 years, and the industry they're focused on is growing at 28% compounded annually. And then we have the accretive acquisitions. I don't know what the short report was talking about with cash burn. CleanSpark does not raise money for cash burn purposes or to line the pockets of executives. The bottom line is this is a competitive industry, especially since it's growing so fast, and you have to pay your management team, you have to pay your employees handsomely if you want to be able to compete against all these other competitors. It's just the way it is. It's called competition. And I've been invested in CleanSpark for quite some time now. And ever since I've been involved with this company, they've promised and delivered on that all of the money they raise will be used for accretive growth and acquisitions. That means whatever they use the funds for adds more value to the company than the dilution takes away from shareholders. This management team is extremely smart. I trust them. I have no reason not to trust them. And based on my findings, this short report was pretty sloppy. So what did I do? Well, I went out and bought 500 more shares of CleanSpark. So now I own, I think, 3,500 shares in my Robinhood portfolio alone. And I own upwards of a couple thousand more shares in my other accounts, I'm sure. So with that, guys, I don't want this video to be too long. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed this or if it helped you out. Feel free to share this with anybody that's concerned about their investment in CleanSpark. With that, I'll be back with brand new videos next week. Peace out.